in the vast expanse between galaxies, where darkness reigned supreme and stars were but distant memories, the Void Walkers had long been revered as nomads of the cosmos. Rigel, a seasoned explorer with eyes that reflected the very stars he traversed, stood at the helm of the Celestial Whisper, a ship designed to navigate the treacherous nothingness. His weathered hands gripped the controls, guiding the vessel towards their ultimate destination, the Starforge. This colossal structure, shrouded in mystery and whispered about in legends, was said to be the birthplace of new cosmic wonders. Beside Rigel stood Vega, her silver hair shimmering like stardust as she pored over ancient star charts. Her keen intellect had earned her the role of chief navigator, deciphering the subtle gravitational waves that served as their roadmap through the void. On the other side, Oberon, the ship's engineer, tinkered with a piece of technology salvaged from a long-dead civilization. His dark eyes gleamed with curiosity, always seeking to unravel the secrets of the universe through its discarded remnants. The Celestial Whisper hummed with an otherworldly energy, its systems powered by the very essence of the void itself. As they approached the outer reaches of the Starforge's influence, strange readings began to flicker across their instruments. Swirls of cosmic dust and newborn particles danced around the ship, a prelude to the wonders that awaited them. Rigel felt a shiver of anticipation run down his spine, a feeling mirrored in the eyes of his crew. For centuries, the Void Walkers had sought the Starforge, drawn by tales of its ability to create new stars and planets. They dreamed of harnessing this power to reignite dying galaxies, to bring light to the darkness that threatened to consume all of existence. Yet, as they drew closer, an unsettling feeling began to creep into Rigel's mind. The void around them seemed to whisper warnings, carrying echoes of ancient sorrows and unspoken fears. As the magnificent structure of the Starforge finally came into view, its immense form blotting out the distant starlight, Rigel couldn't shake the feeling that they were stepping into something far beyond their understanding. Little did they know that their arrival at this cosmic wonder would set in motion a chain of events that would challenge everything they believed about their purpose and the very nature of creation itself. The Starforge loomed before them, a testament to the power of creation and destruction, ready to unveil its secrets to those brave enough to seek them. As the Celestial Whisper penetrated the outer membrane of the Starforge, Rigel and his crew were enveloped in a symphony of light and energy. Massive structures of impossible geometry stretched as far as the eye could see, their surfaces rippling with colors beyond human comprehension. Vega's instruments went haywire, overwhelmed by the sheer amount of data flooding in. "Rigel," she called out, her voice tinged with awe and a hint of fear. "These readings, they're unlike anything we've ever encountered. It's as if the very fabric of space-time is being woven and unwoven around us." Oberon's eyes widened as he observed the intricate machinery surrounding them. Colossal gears meshed with streams of pure energy, while vast chambers pulsed with the birth of new stars. "It's beautiful," he whispered, his fingers dancing over his console as he attempted to decipher the technology before them. "But there's something off about it all. These energy signatures, they're not quite right." As if in response to his words, a tremor ran through the ship, causing the crew to stumble. Rigel fought to keep the Celestial Whisper stable as they navigated deeper into the heart of the Starforge. The further they ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. Shadows seemed to flicker at the edge of their vision, and an eerie silence settled over the crew, broken only by the occasional ping of their instruments. As they passed a chamber where a newborn planet was taking shape, Rigel couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched by unseen eyes. Their unease grew when they encountered other ships, derelict vessels of unknown origin, their hulls scarred and twisted as if corrupted by some malevolent force. Vega's scans revealed no life signs aboard, yet strange energy patterns pulsed within them. "Rigel," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "these ships, they're not dead. They're changing." The implication sent a chill down Rigel's spine. What dark secret lay at the heart of this cosmic marvel? As they approached the central core of the Starforge, the true nature of their predicament began to reveal itself. Oberon, who had been analyzing samples collected from the structure, suddenly let out a gasp of horror. "No, it can't be," he muttered, his face pale. On his screen, microscopic organisms writhed and multiplied at an alarming rate. "Rigel, Vega," he called out, his voice shaking. "We need to leave, now." But as alarms began to blare throughout the celestial whisper, they realized with growing dread that it might already be too late. The Starforge had ensnared them in its cosmic web, and the true nightmare was only beginning to unfold. The celestial whisper shuddered violently as Rigel fought to break free from the Starforge's gravitational pull. Alarms blared throughout the ship, their urgent wails mixing with the rising panic of the crew. Vega's fingers flew across her console, desperately searching for an escape route. "It's no use," she cried, her silver hair wild and unkempt. "The Starforge is generating some kind of energy field. We're trapped." Oberon, his face ashen, worked feverishly to contain the spread of the microscopic organisms he had discovered, but with each passing moment, their presence grew stronger, seeping into the very systems of their ship. As if sensing their desperation, the Starforge seemed to come alive around them. Massive structures shifted and realigned, creating a labyrinth of ever-changing corridors and chambers. Through the viewports, Rigel watched in horror as the derelict ships they had passed earlier began to move, pulled by an unseen force towards the core of the structure. "By the void," he whispered, realization dawning. "It's not creating, it's consuming." The Starforge wasn't a beacon of hope for the universe. It was a cosmic parasite feeding on the very essence of creation. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted from the core of the Starforge, bathing everything in its sickly glow. Rigel felt a searing pain in his mind as visions flooded his consciousness. He saw countless civilizations, entire galaxies being drawn into the maw of the Starforge, their energy and matter twisted and repurposed. And with dawning horror, he understood the true nature of their mission. "We're not saviors," he croaked, his voice hoarse. "We're carriers, the Void Walkers. We've been spreading this plague across the cosmos, leading it to new feeding grounds." As the revelation sank in, the ship's systems began to fail one by one. The microscopic invaders had infiltrated every part of the celestial whisper, corrupting its organic components and overriding its technology. Oberon fought desperately to maintain life support, his hands bleeding as he ripped out infected circuitry. Vega, tears streaming down her face, worked to send out a warning to any Void Walkers who might be following in their wake. But as the message transmitted, they realized with sinking hearts that it might only serve to lure more victims to the Starforge. In a final, desperate gambit, Rigel made a decision that would haunt him for eternity. "We have to destroy it," he announced, his voice filled with grim determination, "and ourselves with it." Understanding dawned in the eyes of his crew. They were the infection, the unwitting harbingers of destruction. With heavy hearts, they set about overloading the celestial whisper's power core. As the ship hurtled towards the heart of the Starforge, Rigel, Vega, and Oberon clasped hands, their bodies already beginning to twist and change. In their final moments, as the ship erupted in a cataclysm of energy, they prayed that their sacrifice would be enough to stop the cosmic plague they had unknowingly helped to spread. The explosion of the celestial whisper sent shockwaves through the very fabric of the Starforge. Corridors twisted and buckled, massive gears ground to a halt, and for a moment, it seemed as if the entire structure would collapse in on itself. But as the echoes of the blast faded, an eerie silence settled over the cosmic forge. The corruption that had spread through the ship and its crew had been momentarily stunned, but not defeated. In the aftermath of the explosion, fragments of the celestial whisper, infused with the essence of Rigel, Vega, and Oberon, drifted through the cavernous interior of the Starforge. Across the vast expanse of the void, other Void Walkers received Vega's final, desperate transmission. The message, garbled and incomplete, spoke of danger and betrayal, but lacked the crucial details of the cosmic plague. Some dismissed it as the ravings of a crew driven mad by isolation. Others, sensing the urgency in Vega's voice, began to question the true nature of their mission. Doubt spread through the nomadic fleet like a virus of its own, causing division and uncertainty among those who had once been united in purpose. Within the Starforge, the microscopic organisms that had infected the celestial whisper began to evolve at an accelerated rate. They absorbed the residual energy from the ship's destruction, incorporating the unique properties of Void Walker physiology into their own structure. The core of the Starforge, that insatiable cosmic parasite, stirred with renewed hunger. Though wounded by the sacrifice of Rigel and his crew, it had gained new knowledge, new adaptations. The plague was changing, becoming more resilient, more cunning in its cosmic consumption. In the wake of the Celestial Whisper's destruction, the Starforge's activities slowed, as if recuperating from a grave injury. The derelict ships that had been drawn towards its core hung suspended in eerie stillness. Yet, deep within its labyrinthine structure, new chambers began to form. These spaces, shaped by the memories and essences of Rigel, Vega, and Oberon, pulsed with a different kind of energy, one that carried echoes of remorse, determination, and the indomitable spirit of the Void Walkers. As news of the Celestial Whisper's fate spread among the scattered Void Walker clans, a great debate erupted. Some advocated for a mass expedition to the Starforge, seeking to uncover the truth and potentially harness its power for good. Others called for its complete destruction, fearing the consequences of meddling with forces beyond their comprehension. And still others, haunted by Vega's warning, began to question every aspect of their existence, wondering if their entire civilization had been unknowingly serving a darker purpose. As the Void Walkers grappled with these existential questions, the Starforge waited in the darkness between galaxies, its true nature still shrouded in mystery, its hunger temporarily sated, but far from extinguished. Months after the Celestial Whisper's fateful encounter with the Starforge, a lone Void Walker ship, the Nebula Seeker, cautiously approached the massive structure. Captain Lyra, her luminescent skin shimmering with anticipation and dread, stood at the helm. She had been one of the few to take Vega's last transmission seriously, gathering a crew of the most brilliant and daring Void Walkers to investigate. As they drew near, the Starforge loomed before them, its appearance subtly altered. New growths and structures had formed, pulsing with an unsettling familiar energy. Lyra and her team docked with the Starforge, their environmental suits designed to resist any potential contamination. As they ventured deeper into its labyrinthine interior, they encountered chambers that seemed to defy the laws of physics, shaped by the merged consciousnesses of Rigel, Vega, and Oberon. In one vast hall, they found the remnants of the Celestial Whisper, its fragments suspended in a swirling vortex of energy. But it was what they discovered next that shook them to their core. In a central chamber, they found a massive, pulsating organism, the heart of the Starforge. But intertwined with it were three distinct energy signatures, unmistakably bearing the essences of Rigel, Vega, and Oberon. The trio's sacrifice had not destroyed the cosmic parasite, but had instead merged with it, fundamentally altering its nature. The Starforge was no longer a mindless consumer of galaxies, but a conflicted entity, torn between its innate hunger and the noble intentions of the Void Walkers it had absorbed. As Lyra's team processed this discovery, a horrifying realization dawned on them. They began to notice subtle changes in their own bodies, an otherworldly tingling that spread from their extremities. Despite their precautions, they had been exposed to the evolved plague. The microscopic organisms, now imbued with the essence of Void Walkers, had become sophisticated enough to bypass their defenses. With growing dread, they understood that they were now carriers of this transformed cosmic infection. In the final moments of clarity before the infection took hold, Lyra made a fateful decision. She ordered her crew back to the ship, knowing they could never return to their people. As the Nebula Seeker disengaged from the Starforge, Lyra recorded one last message to be broadcast across the void. "To all Void Walkers," she began, her voice heavy with the weight of revelation, "we have discovered the truth of our existence. We are not saviors of the cosmos, but unwitting harbingers of a galaxy-wide plague." She explained their findings, the nature of the Starforge, and the sacrifice of the Celestial Whisper's crew. As the infection spread through her body, transforming her into something no longer fully Void Walker, Lyra set the Nebula Seeker on a course into deep, uncharted space. Their mission now was containment, to journey eternally through the void, bearing the burden of the cosmic plague, forever seeking a cure while ensuring it would never again threaten the galaxies they had once called home.